I've known Tony for 20 years, so this sort of mindset for me is probably nothing short of what I expected and what I know that you're like. But even your vast wells of enthusiasm and resilience must have been sorely tested when, like you mentioned, you had a pro show that was, as you said, was on record pace. Everything's set and ready to go. How hard is it to pivot? I know that you, as I mentioned, you've got these endless wells of enthusiasm, or what we see from the outside. But fuck, was there a moment at home where even Tony Doherty went, "Holy shit! Like this is close to getting on top of me"?
I wouldn't say getting on top of me, but look, cancelling the Arnold obviously was really difficult because it's the highlight of so many people's year. And when I
Yeah,
cancelled, so the pro show is now only 1/40th of the whole thing. It's not the big, well, it's still the biggest part, but it's the biggest
yeah,
sport that we have. But on the scale of all the other sports and all the hotels we had booked, I think it was 77 professional athletes coming through 19 airports waiting for me to make a call on it 6 days out. And the
yeah,
weight of that was really, really overwhelming. I still managed to do the amateur pro qualifier. Basically, I built an auditorium in a warehouse with social distancing in place because I figured the Australians still had an opportunity to do that. Whereas if the internationals had flown in, they would have been in lockdown for 14 days. And I guess at the end of that weekend, and then the gyms had to shut, there was a moment like, wow, what else you got? Come on, what else you got? And I felt like a heavyweight boxer, that had a bit of skill, but I was backed into the corner on the ropes, and I was throwing jabs, and I was throwing hooks, and I was throwing everything I had, but I just knew I was going to get knocked out.
yeah.
I
You
thought,
know
well,
what?
I'm just going to keep punching, man. I'm just going to, even if I get knocked out, I'm going to keep punching. So just to answer your question, so the first couple of times I locked those doors, it was like, it goes against everything I've set my mind up for,
Yeah, I know, and that was one of my questions to come a little bit later. Like, as I said, I've known you for 20 years, and that was always such a symbolic moment of you throwing the keys in the Yarra.
Uh,
And then was that, I know cancelling the pro show was a big kick in the guts and whatever, but such a little symbolic thing of having to call the locksmith and then actually, it sounds stupid, relocking the gym. Was that a moment that like that probably hurt you the most?
no, honestly, once I get my head around something, I'm like, I get excited by it. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to close the gym. So
Yeah,
it was the Sunday night of what would have been the close of the Arnold, and all the sports and everything else. And I thought, oh, well, back to the gyms. And then literally one of my mates called that night. I was at home having a drink on the balcony, just reflecting on what could have been. One of my mates called and said, you probably want to turn on your TV because they're making announcements about gyms. And I called my mate back and I said, they're not serious. It's going to be Wednesday, not tomorrow. So I got up in the morning and sure enough, I got in here about 8 o'clock and we had to lock the doors at 12. But as soon as I got that call, I thought, locksmiths are going to get really expensive really fast. So I called one on the Sunday night before he even knew about all this and locked him into his regular rate. So I thought, look, I've had a little bit of a win there because he could have slaughtered me because I had no choice. And then, look, it was weird, Corey, closing up the doors, but I was already thinking, okay, well, I think this will go for probably a month. Why don't I use this time to do the stuff I've never had a chance to do? And to be as honest as I am, I didn't really have a moment of it getting the better of me or anything else. I think you just got to deal the cards that you're dealt, and you just got to say, well, this is what it is. And actually, I just said to someone this week, we were talking about it, and I said, if I was the only, because he said, oh, you're really upbeat, you seem to be handling this, you're positive, but what's really going on? I said, no. I said, if I was the only person, if they said, everyone else in the world can stay open, but Tony Doherty, you have to close, I'd have a reason and the excuse to feel sorry for myself. But we're all in this together. And everybody's, been displaced and got some tough times ahead. Cafe, restaurant owners, bar owners, we've got cocktail lounges that will not open again. People that have also put 20 years of their life into a cafe or something, and it's gone too far now, and they're probably not going to be able to go back to it. So I feel actually very, very privileged that I'm in a position where, I can handle no income for a couple of months. I can plough all of my savings back into the gyms. Like in our city gym, we've done even more major renovations than we've done here. We've taken out change rooms and walls created new spaces and all the rest of it, to the point where we probably need a little bit longer in there in shutdown to get it finished. But I just think that if we're all in this, why complain? Why not just find a way to say, well, this might be a great opportunity to do something we never get to do. And probably the hardest bit's sort of more the loneliness part of it, because I'm so used to, man, I'm always surrounded with people. Like, even I'm in my office now, but it's the way I'm wired, I can't sit still for so long. So I'll walk out of the office probably 10 times a day and just go to the gym and do what I do best and mingle with the members, people from the highest level to the lowest level. And I get on well with everyone. I always try and give everybody time and some good advice and stuff. And I really miss that, just going out and, if you come into the gym and I'm on the coffee machine, it means someone's getting a free coffee. So I'll stand there and do my barista thing, and that's a way to engage in the conversation or to help someone through some tough times or whatever. And I probably miss that people contact more than anything. As much as I'm enjoying the solitude and no one's leaving their weights, pissing me off, I really miss that, just that connection stuff.